country is more divided than it's ever been. And, you know, months ago I said that I believe that we were going to start seeing more and more things exposed, you know, that stuff that's hidden in the shadows being brought to the light, those things that have been kind of kept from us. You know, the everyday Tom, Dick, and Harry is now becoming public knowledge, and it's frightening a lot of people, and it's disturbing a lot of people, and it should because the way things have been run, it hasn't really been so fair and so just and so, you know, loving. The world that we're in today is not the world that I see in the future, and sadly, it seems like it's coming apart at the seams. And today's video, you've clicked on it because, you know, there's a lot of talk about riots, there's a lot of talk about planned revolution, but there is a lot of evidence of electoral rigging. And we're going to be talking about that today because I've been doing a lot of research into this. When I first heard about it, I was troubled. And I said, you know, I'm going to have to just compile everything and put it together so that all of you can see that all the world is a stage indeed. Pew Research has proved just recently that there are 18 million voters that are registered that are invalid, and there's another 2 million people that are dead that will be voting in the next 24 hours. You know, sadly, we all are going to be casting our votes, you know, this day, within the next 24 hours or so. And most of those people that are casting their vote, there's a part of them that believes that it just doesn't matter. You know, they just feel that it's all just one big show.
You see, the Secretary of State last year basically said voter fraud is a problem here, in the fact that 700 Pennsylvania people registered in Pennsylvania voted twice. Up to 43,000 people in Pennsylvania are registered to vote twice. So, I mean, that's a huge problem. In Philadelphia, you're also seeing illegal aliens on the voter rolls.
So the system may indeed be rigged. And today we're going to find out that it's a lot spookier than you thought. And all of this nonsense that's being done in the shadows, well, it's about to be brought to the light. I hope that you brought your seatbelt with you because it's time to buckle up. And I hope you get ready because we're about to enter the rigged election zone. Now, many have been saying, including Donald Trump, that the election was rigged. And when WikiLeaks first came out, we found out that, you know, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, that she was behind stealing that nomination from Bernie Sanders. And while Bernie was saying that things were rigged and not quite fair, and a lot of people said that no, it's just conspiracy. Well, we found out that it was absolutely true, which is why Debbie had to step down. Over the last couple of months, viral videos have made their rounds showing people stuffing ballot boxes. Undercover cameras, hidden cameras revealing this stuff that's going on this year with this election. I mean, these are everyday folks like you and me. You know, whether they're paid off or whether they're just trying to really help out their nominee. What they're doing is 100% illegal, and it's just scary because when you see it taking place, it's mind-blowing to think that that's what's going on today. I mean, how can we have a fair election when stuff like this is going on? Just recently in Texas, they found out that lots and lots of the voting machines, while people were voting Republican, they were actually defaulting to Democrats. So what they found in Texas was a lot of these machines, they were defaulting to a Democratic vote. So if you plugged in a Republican nominee and you thought that you voted, if you didn't really pay attention, the thing was switching over to a Democrat. So a lot of people were voting for Hillary and didn't even know it. Now, this says nothing to mention of, the fact that there is the absolute largest voter fraud investigation taking place right now in Texas. It's, the counties there, the things that have been uncovered, it's hard to believe. They uncovered dead people that were voting. Thousands of illegal aliens that shouldn't have the right to vote were voting. And in Virginia, just in time for the election, the governor, who is definitely good friends with Hillary Clinton, pardoned 60,000 convicted felons, giving them the right to vote, which will absolutely swing the election one way or the other. Now, another thing that's really kind of spooky is this is the first presidential election that is taking place without voter rights. There used to be these heavy restrictions put in place so that people weren't intimidated and that the polling places were actually they were guarded and people were there was some great oversight. But now all of that's gone. There was there was a repealing of this law, and this is the first election that is taking place after this has happened, which I think is quite coincidental. And not to mention, they say that it's now easier to get a gun than it is to vote in some places. Not to mention, there's been a 43% reduction in polling stations. We're talking hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of polling stations just basically shut down. So where you used to be able to vote in a lot of these states, red states, if you will, you can't find them anymore because they're no longer around, coincidentally. We all heard about Project Veritas, and those videos not only showed how just really corrupt both parties are. And I don't want to just point out, I want to say something. I'm not here to sway your vote at all. I'm not here to tell you who you should vote for and who you shouldn't vote for. The whole system is corrupt. And what the Democrats have done, the Republicans have done. And what the Republicans are doing, the Democrats are doing. This is two sides of the same corrupt coin, people. But what we're finding now is that today this is the first time in history that we know for a fact it's all a big show, it's all fixed, it's all rigged, it's all corrupt. Project Veritas proved that these riots that were going on, they were instigated. People were being paid to go in and start trouble. People were being paid to get people to fight and people could have gotten hurt And this has happened in many places. We also found out through Project Veritas that they bust people in. They bust people in to vote. And their recent video, which they just put out, has proven it's not very difficult to vote, not just once, but twice. I mean, in some cases, people are voting more and more and more using the same name in just different counties. It doesn't even matter, it seems. Their videos have really exposed how really fragile this whole thing is and how easy it is to manipulate and take advantage of it. You see, this is why people are so angry. This is why people are so offended. And this is why people are saying that, if the election goes a certain way, well, watch out. And that's scary. And I think that everybody needs to take a moment and take a breath and breathe and realize that, violence, it doesn't solve anything. The violent can try to take things by force, but you'll never have peace at the end of a sword. And just because things seem so corrupt and just because they seem so unfair doesn't mean that, when the truth becomes more and more visible to the population as a whole, and when more and more people catch on to what's going on, that things can't change peacefully. And I have faith that things can, which is why every video I try to get every one of you to think of a different way of approaching the troubles and the trials that we face today. I know it's disturbing. I'm disturbed with what I see. Months and months ago, I said, look, I believe that corruption is about to be shouted from the rooftops. Those things that were hidden and private, I believe they're going to become public. I've been saying for a while now that the charade, it's over. It's time for the truth to set us free. And the only way that's going to happen is if people wake up. And it's wake up time, these WikiLeaks where, they can't be stopped now. We found out that Obama's entire cabinet was actually picked by the bankers. By Citigroup, for crying out loud. The bankers tell them, who to choose and why to choose them, and who to appoint and why to appoint them. And if you think really that they're in control, you're as foolish as they want you to be, because they're puppets, nothing more. It's the illusion of choice, people. And that's why this election has become so explosive. And that's why you see so many people divided against their neighbor, friend against friend, because they may have a different view or a different candidate that they have in mind. It's a scary thing to ask a person today who you're voting for, worried that if they're voting for someone else, you may not hear the end of it, right? Because everybody wants to put in their 2 cents. There are videos of people going onto their neighbor's property and stealing signs off of their property. There are fights that are breaking out over who are we voting for, and we're all being played. We're all being played, and we're fighting each other. And the reason that we're so divided, and the reason why everybody's so angry, is because it's all based on a lie. And we're starting to wake up to that, because the truth is setting us free.
Essentially, in the audit, they were erasing votes that the electronic voting machine paper record indicated had been cast.
So the hand tally showed that Bernie Sanders had gotten 223 votes, and that Hillary Clinton had gotten 46 less votes. The hand tally showed that. Okay. But to meet the official recommended results, they had to literally erase Bernie Sanders' votes and add Hillary Clinton's. That's approximately 70 votes, 70 times about 500 active machines in the field, and there's more that we have documented here. It is a lot of votes.
A lot of people find it very coincidental that just, you know, basically a day before the election, that James Comey, oh, well, we're letting all the charges go, right? We're just going to let it go. Just as coincidental as they brought the charges to begin with, to make it look like really, because see, what happened was when the FBI basically dropped all the charges, a lot of people were outraged, right? They were so angry because they're like, no, this is not justice. And they felt played. So what do? Well, they tell you another story. They just roll out another script. And the script is, oh, James Comey, he's a good guy. He's going to hold, you know, Clinton, you know, to Lady Justice. And we're going to see what really happens, right? But what happens? Nothing happens. Nothing happens in the end. You know, the sad thing is, Julian Assange, in his interview, this just came out. And if you get a chance to watch this interview, I encourage you to. I mean, he said it. I mean, he said it very clearly. He said that there is no way that Trump is going to be elected because everybody's already attached to Clinton. I mean, this is not just one person. This is a huge organization that's in the shadows. This is the banks, the military, industrial. This is everything, and it's behind this one puppet, you know, that people are cheering for ignorantly. And I'm not saying that she's the bad choice, and I'm not saying Trump is the right choice or a bad choice. I'm saying it's all just a fool's errand. The only thing that's going to get us out of this mess is finding the truth and waking up and loving those around us. That's the only thing. So when Julian Assange said it, you know, do you think people are shocked? No, because a lot of people believe it. They believe that this whole thing is rigged from the beginning.
What is WikiLeaks doing? Are they trying to put Trump in the White House?
Trump would not be permitted to win. Banks, intelligence, arms companies,
They all want him.
big foreign money, etc.,
Yeah.
is all united behind Hillary Clinton, and the media as well. So media owners and even journalists themselves.
And that's why I decided to do this video, because it's been on my heart, because, you know, all this talk about riots and fears of violence, you know, I mean, we have schools closing down on election day for that reason. More and more people, celebrities like Michael Moore, are talking about, you know, how riots are going to be incited, and anchors for news programs are talking about how, you know, there's going to be race wars, and I mean, all of this anxiety, it's all being fed to us. It's almost like little by little we've all been sort of programmed to blow up after this, you know, after this election, right? Because when it turns out to be what a lot of people already think it's going to be, regardless of our vote, what do you think is going to happen? Well, you have militias that are already planning to take up arms. You have people that are saying they're going to take to the streets, and you already have neighbors that are at war with each other over their choice for president. This world, this country, it is far too divided, and this is part of the plan. You see, that's the sad part. All of this is all an illusion, people. That's why I want you all to keep your heads. I want you all to keep cool. And when you see what's happening, you know, you need to find a better way to deal with it. You need to find a peaceful way to deal with it. Peaceful change is the only change that will last. You can't build a house on sand. You build it on a strong foundation. And a strong foundation is one that is united, not divided. A divided foundation crumbles. And anything that has to do with violence is doomed to be met with violence in return. So I hope that this video has encouraged you to, put aside your differences. I hope that you take a moment to realize that with all the evidence that you've seen about how rigged and how corrupt and how big of a sham this whole thing could actually be, I hope you don't let that